Truths and stories gotta collide. Alibis get swept aside. I got proof that can't be denied. The data don't lie, people do. Waves crashing, secrets in the tide. Facts and numbers side by side. Through the chaos I will abide. The data don't lie, people do. Look at the records, feel the vibe. Digits and bytes come alive. I stand tall with nothing to hide. The data don't lie, people do. Friends may twist and tongues may tie. Plausible tales shape the sky. In the end you can verify. The data don't lie, people do. It's in the matrix beyond the eye. Hard truth that's flying by. Evidence you can't defy. The data don't lie, people do. Look at the records, feel the vibe. Digits and bytes come alive. I stand tall with nothing to hide. The data don't lie, people do. The vibe, digits and bytes come alive. I stand tall with nothing to hide. The data don't lie, people do. Friends may twist and tongues may tie. Plausible tales shape the sky. In the end you can verify. The data don't lie, people do. Friends may twist and tongues may tie. Plausible tales shape the sky. In the end you can verify. The data don't lie, people do.
Hello everybody. Guess what we have today? We have a VRM. I don't know how it's going to go, but this is me in virtual reality land, apparently. We'll see how it goes. Hello everyone. Michelle, my favorite Aussie mod, is in the house. How's it going? Smarter Harry, how are you? Laura. Getting you mixed up with Laurie. Tracy, how's it going? Tone, good to see you. So, weird stuff going on out there in internet land, right? Weird stuff all round. So, we hear a lot of people say, if you see something, say something. But then there's people also that are like, don't say something because we don't want to know. So make up your mind. See something or say something. If you see something, you say something. Because, that's what makes people behave themselves, I guess, when they're online. Or you don't. And then people get out of control online. So, I don't know. And then there's like some things you see where you're like, oh my God, that is so good. Right now, GSE, for those who know who GSE is, Grant Smith Ellis, is losing his fan base. You know, that's pretty cool. I like seeing that. I mean, it's drama. It's online drama, but it's cool to watch, you know, like, because all these besties are all like, you know, dumping him at the moment. They don't believe anything that he says anymore, which is weird. But it's fun to watch the whole implosion happening, isn't it? Well, I think it is. But yeah, no, there's other implosions that aren't so much fun to watch. There's people like lying so much about things to try and make drama, which Smart Harry, no, not GSE. Excuse me, not GSE. Right, but there's other dramas going on as well. There's also someone harassing Nan Gallagher, which is not good. But do we just ignore it because we don't want the drama? You know, there's some pretty mean, sexualized kind of things going on there, coming from our side. Do we just not say anything because because we're not interested in that drama? It's a bit weird, right? So, what is going on with this avatar? Come on, hang on, let me take my glasses off. Hello, avatar. We're looking a little droopy here. What the hell is going on? Right, I think we're frozen up. The mouse working. What the hell is going on here? Hang on. Let me see if I can reset something. Like, hello everyone. Does that work? Nope. We still got a droopy eye. Let's do it. Nope. Still got a droopy eye. What the hell? Come on, get rid of that droopy eye. I don't know what's going on. I've got a droopy eye for some reason. Come on, stupid avatar, fix yourself. This is why we don't do avatars, right? Because they're a freaking pain in the butt. Let me see if I can fix this. Nope. Nope. For some reason, the eye's droopy. One side's droopier than the other. Come on, fix this shit up. Oh, just one eye is droopy. Oh no! I don't know what's going on. Freaking hell. I don't know what's wrong with my eye. Wonder if I can fix it this way. No. Stupid thing. This is what you get for freaking around with virtual reality, right? Let's go fantastic. Let's see if we can change the tracking with eyes. Horizontal. Let's pull this back to one. Let's pull this back to one. Is that better? No. Hang on, let me just turn it off altogether. No, it's not working. Bloody hell. Well, I guess we just got a droopy eye for the fun of it today. Just squinting. Make them both droopy. Hang on. Let me see if I can do both droopy. Droopy. I actually think one eye is good, the other eye is wrong. Like, the droopy eye is actually probably the right one, and the other one is not. Not working. That's it. That's all I can do unless I re-import the VRM. I could try that, actually. Let's try re-importing it. Load. Let's reload the VRM. Oops. I don't know if this will work, but we shall see. Reload. Ah! Fixed eyeball. Okay. We're good. We're back to scratch. Put a patch over it. All right, we're there. Eyes are fixed. Hey, Gracie, thanks for dropping in. Never mind. We're fixed now. So we're all good. How's it going, Jamie? Look like a crazy person with a twitch. We're good. We're fixed. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen again. I think what could have caused it is I am wearing my glasses so I can read chat. And sometimes there's a little glint of light, I guess. So anyway, I think we're fixed. Moving right along. What was I talking about? Drama. Oh, drama. So, do we not care about Nan Gallagher? I'd like to know, do we care about what happens to Nan Gallagher? Because it's pretty, hectic what's going on. And it's our crew, our people are doing it. Like, it's not the antis doing it. It's people on our side doing it. And they're not people that I associate with or have anything to do with, but, we kind of got a fair idea who it is. So, do we care or not? Do we see something and say, yeah, that's not good, that's not cool, we don't, let's not sexualize people online because it's not cool? But I wake up today and there is people saying, don't care about the drama, don't care who's getting harassed by who or how, don't care. We care, we don't need to get involved in it, but definitely not verbally support that nonsense, right? And what does Melanie Little have to do with it? Exactly, dragging other people into it. Do we call it out? I don't know. I tried to call out some misbehavior by these very same people at the start of the year, and everyone was telling me to shut the fuck up. So, do we shut the fuck up? Whoa. Check it out. Whoa. Yeah. Hi, yo. Yeah. Wah. I'm sorry, but it's funny. The arms are all over the place. It's not a very good VR model. It's gross. Exactly, corn Pope. It is gross, especially when someone is not putting out that. Nan doesn't put that kind of energy out at all. So I don't know why people are doing this to her. So, I miss that. Wait, I miss that show. Happy birthday to your daughter. I'll do it for you, Ozzy. I'm not on socials other than here, so no opinion yet. Right. Well, it's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, well, you know what, Jamie? It's not any different what was happening to Nan, what was happening to me. And, Jason. It's the same group of people. It's all the same stuff going on. And you all told me to shut up about it. Way back at the start of the year. And it's still going on. Do you know why it's still going on? Because nobody wanted to hear about it. Nobody was saying, that's not a good way to behave. Sometimes you can absolutely use social media to call out shitty behavior. And so long as everybody's calling out the shitty behavior, then generally the shitty behavior kind of, calms down to people actually behaving like humans again. But if you just pretend it's not happening and it continues on, then more and more people are being at the mercy of the shitty behavior, right? Isn't that how it goes? As someone who's on the spectrum, when people are being shitty to me, I find calling them out on social media is part of what doesn't just fix it, but it's embarrassing them. So they can get away with shit so long as it's in the dark. If nobody else can see what they're doing, then they think, well, it's okay to treat a person this way. But as soon as the whole world can see what they're doing, now we're like, maybe we should rein that in and not treat people like that. So I find social media, especially for people on the spectrum who cop this kind of shit all the time, where people think they're going to get away with it because no one can see them doing it, I think I find social media a pretty good tool for calling it out, right? So if you're going to keep trying to do shit in the dark, then shouldn't we be trying to call it out and bring it out into the light so that you pull your finger out and behave like a proper human instead of an animal? So yeah, I get it. Some people you hate. There's people out there that I hate, but you don't hear me bitching and moaning about them all the time and creating different ways to make their life hard. I just made my decision. Don't like that person, moving right along. I don't spend my entire living days, all day, every day, trying to invent ways to make their lives miserable. You just gotta move the fuck on. Right? But anyway, I don't know why they're picking on Nan Gallagher. She doesn't put that energy out. Maybe because I actually did call some of this shit out. Maybe that caused me to deserve some energy back. I don't know if you want to put it that way, but well, let's just say that. But if I deserved it because I was actually calling shit out, Nan certainly doesn't deserve it because she's not doing anything. She's just moving on doing her thing, right? I know for sure what's going on because Nan's been talking about it on her X account. She's been posting about it. So, there's nothing wrong with you calling shitty people out, right? Well, she's not even game to call them out. She's not game to say who they are because she knows it's going to cause backlash. Just like me calling them out cause backlash. So, but it's shitty behavior. Like, just stop it. Stop being shitty people. Stop trying to ruin someone's life because you don't like them. Just don't like them and move the fuck on, right? So, in general, right? I gotcha. Just in general, right? Well, I had the receipts. That's what I was showing you was the receipts. You know, I was showing you that even though people denied they were doing X, Y, and Z, I showed you they were actually doing X, Y, and Z and proving it. So they're still denying that they're doing X, Y, and Z. So for those who aren't on X and don't know what the fuck's going on, some accounts, some sock accounts have been created. Those sock accounts are relentlessly harassing people. Nan Gallagher being one of the people relentlessly harassed. There's a bunch of them, sorry. There's not just Nan getting harassed, but Nan's the only one speaking out about it. Like, so the only one that I'm comfortable saying this is what's happening because she is speaking out about it. So it's not that hard, is it, Kate? It's not. Um, they don't like their own life. That's right, Michelle. And so they're jealous of others. That's it. But some are just like vengeful sort of people. I know Jason's still copping it. So there was some people doing some shitty things. He called them out by name, and now the ones who were doing shitty things to me have decided that they have to destroy Jason's life because he said someone by name. They tried to destroy me because I said someone's half name, first half their first name. I didn't even say their surname because I actually don't know their surname. But I said their half of their first name, and that apparently kicked off a whole bunch of harassment against me. So what people call doxing, I don't think I actually understand what doxing is. Doxing is when you reveal first name, last name, address, phone number, email address, and things like that, like as a whole, as a set. That's doxing. If you want YouTube to react to, you being doxed, you have to prove that your email address or your physical address or something like that was revealed, not just your name. So often people show an email that you sent them, for example, but just showing your email address in that email exchange is a form of doxing, and YouTube will act on that. So, or your employer, thank you, Prince Lover, exactly. So, doxing is not if a person's name is Marianne and you say Mary. I spoke with Mary. That's not doxing them, right? That is not doxing them. Even if you said Marianne, that's not doxing them. But if Marianne is getting around behind a fake account and accusing other people of doing shit, and you say Marianne, whatever her last name is getting around behind a fake account doing XYZ to people, that's still not fucking doxing. So, people who are too thick to actually go and look at what doxing actually means under the law, what is doxing? It's not the thing that fucking people are accusing, well, me and Jason of, for starters. It's not that, right? Now, Jamie, your information is, ours in Australia isn't. That's why no one can dox me, because we don't have public records here. So, but yes, yours is actually very easy for people to get. Once people know, certain things about you, then they can track it down and work out who you are. So yeah, it's a lot easier for people to do that shit in America than it is in Australia, because quite obviously, because we don't have public records. Um, but anyway, doxing's not the thing that people think it is. All right, Jason didn't dox anyone. He didn't put out all of the details on who that person was and their address and their phone number and their employer and shit. At least I don't think so. I didn't see it. But now he's a target. They're trying to destroy his marriage and, hurt his daughter because he apparently, to someone else's standard, doxed one of their friends. Not true, because that's not what doxing is. But if you're going to use that as an excuse to go and hurt people, then that doesn't actually make you the nice person. That makes you the opposite, right? That makes you not a nice person. I am. Hello, Jay Cornish. Thank you for joining us. I love you too. I'm surprised that I have to explain this in freaking today's day and age to fully grown fucking adults. Like, what the fuck? What? Why do I have to explain this to adults? This is all pretty fucking normal fucking common sense shit, isn't it? What the fuck am I doing? But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest. First of all, if we do see something, do we say something? Right? So someone trying to destroy a marriage, trying to break a marriage down and hurt a child. Because why? Revenge? So I see it and I'm calling it out. It's bullshit. Let's see something, say something, right? But I'm probably going to get trashed and told, oh, well, you're just drama. Why do you want to start drama? Stop it with the drama, Ozzy. It's too much drama. We don't like it when you do drama. It probably is going to start the drama, though, because I mentioned it. Stupid or not, I mentioned it. Now it's going to cause drama. But the point actually is calling out the drama, right? That is the whole point. So I get like invited into someone's Discord there a little while back, a couple of days ago, and I didn't actually type anything in the Discord. Well, I did type that I shouted out for you guys to go look at this video and subscribe to a channel. That's all I did. And then that started shit. Apparently, just being there. All that shit that I was complaining and calling out last year, at the beginning of the this year and the end of last year, yeah, it started all that again, all over from scratch, as if they hadn't even left off. Like, obviously we left off because we just blocked them all and stopped interacting with them. So we did, but clearly they didn't. They just picked it up like it never stopped. So I'm going to assume it never stopped, right? They just continued on while we were pretending it wasn't going on. Right, there's a lot of that going on too, Michelle. Distraction to shift the focus off their behavior. Right. because they've all been called out. It's like, well, yeah, but you did blah blah. I can't even say what they're accusing Jason of doing because YouTube won't let me say it. Let's just say they're calling him a predator and that he sought out victims to re-victimize them. Apparently, that's as far as I can go because the rest of it is not YouTube friendly. Let's say. Go to Perth in summer. It's bloody hot, but it's cold in winter too. Yep, it's exactly right. Tone. So yes, that's all it took, right? That's all it took. Just that. Just appear in a list where in a list on a Discord where they also appear, and bam, off we go again. Round fucking 2. Ding ding. So anyway, oh, you haven't blocked them. They blocked you. Oh, I had to block them because it was just fucking daily on. It was just daily. It was daily assaults. Basically, I had to block them. So I don't know. It takes different people, I guess. But if I wake up every day to negativity, then I end up thinking negatively all day, every day. And then you see I publish videos that are showing that I'm thinking negatively because I'm watching negativity all day, every day. So it does reflect in what I publish on my channel if it's going on. But anyway, I try. That's why I blocked them all. So, but you might not feel that way, Michelle, because you're not publishing, videos every day and looking for things to talk about within the community or whatever. So, but the main thing I was trying to do at the beginning of the year was just call it out. Like, this is shitty behavior. Why are you being shitty? We've got, more important things to focus on. So we still got important things to focus on. Like right now, we've got, Dr. Total Boy is still going through the same thing that Karen Reed was going through. He's still getting railroaded by the same people. So, yeah, it's the same. We still got important shit to sort out. Why are we treating each other like shit? We're all on the same side. We all believe that what is going on is shitty behavior. But how can we stand here and say those cops and those people are exhibiting shitty behavior and we're calling it out whilst we are also exhibiting shitty behavior? Doesn't work, does it? I mean, sure, you can be a comedian about it, but it's still shitty behavior, whether you're trying to be funny or not. So anyway, that's what I'm seeing going on right now online. And people took it the wrong way because I said I don't specifically want to engage it. There's a lot of people who, took sides with that. And so with the interview thing, that created a lot of drama there. Well, it's got to be your fault, Ozzy. You've got to take responsibility for that. Well, that's fine. But it did create a lot of drama there. So, I can't even have like an uncomfortable moment being autistic. It's going to happen eventually at some stage because, we're not great socially. But that caused a lot of, people to backlash, and then their backlash caused more backlash, and that backlash caused more backlash, and until it went like a freaking domino effect. So that's why I've cancelled that it's got nothing to do with Aiden himself. It's just the way people are carrying on. And I'm calling it out. Don't be a fucking dick. How's that? Don't be a fucking dick. Fine, if you want me to take responsibility for something, then be specific what you want me to take responsibility for. Hitting the go live button is not a valid reason, okay? So, inviting someone on, not a valid reason. Inviting two people on that didn't have a great vibe, not a valid reason. I am not in control of other people's personalities, okay? So, there was just a lot of shit that went down for no reason. For no reason at all. Uh, so, yeah, that's another thing I need to call out. Nothing to do with Aiden. But if people are gonna act that way, we're not gonna call it out. We're just gonna pretend that ain't happening. Then I'm not doing any more fucking interviews that cause it to happen. All right, I'm not saying Aiden caused it to happen. I'm not even saying that me or Jason. We didn't cause it to happen. People out there chose to respond that way. They chose to be shitheads. They chose to take it negatively. So, and I'm still getting fucking comments about it today. It's like, move the fuck on, for fuck's sake. And then it's actually pretty funny because they're only just getting it in their stream in the, you know, like currently it's turning up in their stream, and then they're commenting on it like it happened yesterday. It's like, oh my god, as if I haven't already fucking addressed all their dumb fucking comments already. But anyway, right, exactly, Smarter Hari. And that's the reason I decided to put another interview on ice with TB. He understands where I'm coming from. So we're good. He and I are good. It's actually the shitty people who are not good. They're still not good, but they just need to move on. So I know, right? Exactly, Tracy. We are not in the fucking school grounds anymore. Like, move the fuck on. So anyway, right, so there's that topic. I just wanted to like move from saying stupid shit online, pretending you got creating soccer accounts to harass people, being a shithead on posts that are fucking ages old and sorted, being a shithead in general because you fucking can't press the stop button. Where am I in this list? Calling it all out today. I've got the list. Where are we? So, yeah, you can just ignore people doing that, or you can call them out. I'm calling them out. That might not be your style. It's my style. I call them out. And then, we make the decisions where they're going to go and be a shithead again, even though everyone's watching us being a shithead and calling us out for being a shithead. It's like, keep doing it, and it's pretty embarrassing, but you're pretty much going to spend everything you've got, right? If you're doing it as part of your content creation, for example, you're not going to build an audience. You'll be stuck with this same mentality audience who are just mean girls, right? Being mean for fun. So, chickens, they've got no spine and have no, and gave to hide behind sock accounts and have to hide behind sock accounts, I think you meant. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're either going to come at someone as yourself. I mean, Aussie Insider is not a sock account, it's a brand account. But I am myself. People know if I'm coming at you, it's Aussie, that's me. Same person. It's not a fucking pretend person trying to pretend to be something that else, and like, it's me, right? And I don't have any dramas coming at you if I feel like I need to come at you. Nonetheless, I'll also turn you off if you're fucking pissing me off and you're doing it all day, every day. I was offended for you. No, you didn't need to be offended for me. It's okay. Like, well, here's the thing. You all can feel how you like about it. I wasn't really telling you how to feel about it. And the point was, Aiden and I are okay with, that's the way it went. We can all live with it. It's the fact that no one else could live with it. What was the problem? There was demands for me to take responsibility, and look, I hit the play button. I hit the go live button. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I said, yeah, let's do it. Maybe I shouldn't have. Um, you're entitled to feel how you feel about it, but on the same token, uh, there was nothing mean that went on. There was nothing that I felt was Cornish. If I had something to say to you, I would not use a sock puppet. Exactly. Exactly. Just grow the fuck up and stand behind your word, right? I got someone threatening right now. I'm going to show your DMs. I'm going to snip your DMs and put them out there in public. I'm like, you know what? I learned like 20 years ago, probably longer actually. I learned 35 years ago they don't put anything in writing that you're not going to stand by. So fine, put my DMs out there. I will stand by anything that I said, whether it was public or private, because I don't put anything in writing that I can't stand behind. So, just because you might not like your DMs to be out there in public because you probably have written shit that you can't stand behind, that's your problem. But for me personally, fine, publish my DMs. I'm pretty sure there is nothing there that I can't stand behind. So, anyway, yeah, I'm fine for people to feel that way. Whatever's going on between Jason and Aiden, that's not my problem. That's theirs. And it doesn't sound like they're making it a problem. Whatever the vibe was, it was off. Jason's living with it. He took the little bit of advice that Aiden had to offer him, and we're fine. We moved on. It's actually it's actually out there in the world that hasn't moved on, which is why I'm cancelling anything coming up in the future. So we just don't need to repeat the same thing. If you want to be toxic and you want to go to Aiden's channel and be toxic towards him, or you want to come to my channel and be toxic towards me, it's you who screwed it. Not Aiden, not Jason, not me. You. So you need to take responsibility for your own toxic bullshit. Right, Cornpo. It's not hard to do, right? If there's something that you can't stand behind, then don't fucking say it, right? It's pretty simple. So, yes. Oh, thank you, Cat Randall. Good on you. And there you go, Smarter. You got it. Smarter Hari got it. You're now in the bony ass level or bonus level. All right. Thanks for that, Cat Randall. um text and email like it might be used in court one day. Exactly. Exactly. If I got something to say that I might not later be able to stand by, I'll probably just say it verbally to you. And then change my mind later. But generally, I don't say shit that I can't stand behind. So the sloping shoulder philosophy, Tone says. When shit is thrown, I simply let it roll off and ignore it. Well, yeah, but that doesn't help the next person. Like the person throwing the shit is just going to throw it at someone else. I think call it out. Sure, let it roll off, but call it out first, and then then let it roll off. So adulting, right, Tracy? I was given an out to blame a coworker for error. My mistake was root cause of error. I took the write up, and as it was ultimately my fault. I'm an adult, right? Usually, what I say ages well because I don't talk out my ass. Right. Right. That's how it usually goes. All right, so let's move on to a different topic now. Let me have a look because I had a few things like racked up on the thingy. All right, so do you guys remember the Slender Man story? Do you remember the Slender Man murder or murders? Anyone remember that? Let me just find let me find one. Let me find the story. Maybe we can find a very short version of what went down. 8 minutes 5 years ago. Let me just find a short version, okay? 22 minutes, that's too freaking long. 30, that's too long. 10 minutes, second Slender Man stabbing. I just want to give you a short version, a short rundown of what actually happened, right? Oh, come on. Can't be that fucking hard to find a short 10-minute version. Who's got a 10-minute version out there? Oh, geez, that whole thing. Oh, thank you, honeybee. Nice. Anyone out there got a shorter version? I can't find a short version of it. All right, so basically there's this myth that was started on like a scary movie channel. I don't know, where the kids hang out. And the myth was that there's this dude called Slender Man. Slender Man is was just a spooky story. Short version, Stephen King. Right. Uh and the girls actually just believed it. So they're all teenagers. I think they're like 12 and 13. They're all teenagers. They actually believe this story, like fully bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. So, let me just see. I'm sure I had like a whole background on what Slender Man actually was by someone. But anyway, fake monsters, real killers, right? But they did actually believe it. And so somehow they end up using this Slender Man theory as an excuse to murder one of their friends. So they're in jail. They're getting a lot of therapy, obviously, and one of them seems to have come good. Basically, seems to have responded well to therapy, responded well to that's half an hour how Slender Man became real. Mums of guilty teens speak out. I'm still trying to find you a good sort of rundown. But anyway, one of the teens has responded well, and she's being let out. And she's being let out under supervision. It's not just, free to kill again. So, actually, she did survive, didn't she? So it was attempted murder, wasn't it? You're shocked that they were released? See, I'm on the fence. I am completely on the fence because I believe, they were young. They were obviously twisted. They were obviously suffering from mental health issues. And I do believe that they can probably be treated for all of that. The other one was let go months ago. Right. They've both been let out. Correct. But I think it's because it's because the girl that they attacked actually did survive. It was attempted murder. So, what was that? Bing bing. The origin of the Slender Man. Thank you. Let's see. Thank you, Supermod. The origin of Slender Man. Oh, good. It's a 6 minute. Okay, I like that. Let's do that. Let's do that one. Hang on. Shit. Oh my God, where'd that go? Share this tab. Let's go here. There we go. Let's do that one.
Okay, have you got any more?
I'll do one more just because it's really well known.
Oh.
And it's one that's definitely been blown out of proportion massively. Don't know if we can technically class it as an urban legend though.
Right.
Oh.
Slender Man.
Oh, I've got a story about him, but I'll let you explain what it is.
Okay, so obviously what everyone thinks Slender Man is, at least, is a story essentially of a man, very tall man, very long legs, very long arms, featureless face, no eyes, no nose, just a
bit
ball on top of his head.
Voldemort-y.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially, pretty much. And it came about that he was particularly always after children. There were loads of like hoax photos on the internet of people in the woods, and then suddenly Slender Man's like somewhere in the distance behind him, and he became quite a phenomenon really quickly out of nowhere.
Loads of indie games came out.
Games came out for it. There's a film for it. But there's no true origin behind any of it. It's really, really fake and made up.
Yes, it's all on the internet.
He
it's
basically
made on the
came.
internet.
The way Slender Man was created is there was a paranormal drawing competition or an art competition. Someone drew this creature, Slender Man, called him that, and just posted it. And then people just took it and went, oh, that's a story. And they just made up stories. 2009.
Yeah.
He's only been about 10 years. Like, it's not a big, like, oh, in the 80s, he killed and abducted children. But it literally was just a piece of art and people took stories from it.
Yeah.
However, what did happen from that is that a lot of people took it a bit too seriously. It really scared kids, obviously. So it did get to the point that in 2014, 2 girls stabbed their friend multiple times after leading her into the woods.
The fuck?
And then when they were questioned for doing it, the girl was 12 years old, who they took in and stabbed.
How old were the girls that stabbed?
I believe they were 14 and 16.
Fuck me.
And then when they questioned why they did it, they said that they did it for the Slender Man.
Yeah.
Or Slendy, they called him as well. Gave him a nickname. And yeah, that was in Wisconsin. So but the girl didn't die.
Explains it all. There we go.
Righto.
The girl didn't die, but it was quite a big thing.
Well, yeah, she's been stabbed multiple times. She didn't die. It was quite a big thing, really. Her family were traumatized for a number of years.
It was a big thing because afterwards they said that they did it for this
Slender
unknown
Man
creature, fake
Which
person.
gives a little bit of weight to this fictional fucking...
Yeah, so it suddenly gave weight to it. That was 5 years earlier was nothing.
Yeah.
So that's really all Slender Man is. It's just a fake made up piece of art that people attached a story to.
When I was 16 or 17, way too old to be a madness, right? But I was near Anglia Square in Norwich.
Yeah.
You know when you're kind of like 16, maybe a bit younger, and you just hang around on street corners?
Following in your mum's footsteps.
Prostitution
I was literally going to then make that joke. I was with my mum. No, I was sat on a wall in a churchyard at night time, and somebody told me the story of Slender Man. I'd never heard it, and it fucking petrified me. It really scared me.
Really?
And I went home and I kept thinking about it for like nights, and I couldn't sleep. And I was probably a bit too old to be that scared about it. You imagine a 12-year-old would act like that. I was like 16, 17. But then, I got over it. I grew up and I bought a Slender Man onesie for a Halloween party. And my sister didn't know I had one. And when I lived in the house with her, I knocked on her door early one morning, which is a bit weird because it weren't nighttime. I banged on the door and she's come to it, and I stood at the door like straight up, bolt upright, and then I flicked my head side to side, so it was like this white head. And I have never seen someone get so petrified so quickly. And you know, like when you make a joke and it doesn't go well, and like, she's so petrified, you're like, oh,
Funny thing is,
didn't mean to scar you mentally there.
even if you started going, oh no, it's me, it's still you in a suit.
Yeah.
Like she cannot see your face, and you go, no, it's me, and you're just waving your hands at her manically.
And people that haven't met me often think I'm going to be quite short, but I'm quite a tall lad.
Very tall,
Yeah.
very tall.
So
That's quite funny.
I do apologise, Charlie, if you listen to this. Slender Man did scare me a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's quite interesting when you read into it for that kind of stuff, though, because it's one of the only like folklores that you can just see an origin really quickly.
Yeah,
Like you could literally just search it and they'll go, oh yeah, it's just that piece of art. Whereas normally with werewolves and all of vampires, anything like that, it's a bit more like, obviously people say like Bram Stoker invented Dracula.
It was based on
And then-
Vlad the Impaler, who was an actual serial killer.
Yes, there's so much with that it makes it a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
But with Slender Man, it's literally just, there it is. But how quickly did that go over the internet? How, like the fact that someone could scare you with a story that they've just read isn't real at all.
I just think because it's quite unusual, when the first time you hear it, if you're of a sort of an impressionable age, you do get quite scared about it. I also remember playing a game called PT.
Oh, what a game.
Oh.
All right, we don't need to go into game land, but that's just a sort of a rundown. It was just a piece of art. And the kids got carried away with it, as Jamie says. Completely carried away with it. But then they melded this Slender Man story into why they attempted to murder their friend, essentially. So that's the story of Slender Man. Now I remember when I was a kid, so I would have been, I'm trying to think, because my brother was a toddler, like barely 2, so 1 or 2, probably 1, and he's 4, so I would have been 5 or 6. Okay, so at 5 or 6 years old, I remember waking up one night and the noise that I heard actually made me see things that weren't there. Believe it or not. So I hear this noise and my brain invents the picture of what it thinks the noise is. And it was just so stupid. It was like my stepfather, he used to like whoop us with the ironing cord, with the jug cord or the kettle cord or the cord of iron or whatever. He would whoop us with one of those short leads. But anyway, when I heard him snoring, I woke up, I heard him snoring, like really fucking loudly snoring. I pictured this like man in the doorway of my bedroom, wrapped in these like cords, like these jug cords, kettle cords. But anyway, that haunted me for a long time, like well and truly, into an age where it should have stopped. It should have stopped haunting me after about 7 or 8, but it didn't. It was like a reoccurring thing that haunted me throughout my childhood. There was a couple of things like that, but that's just one of them. Whereas kids, you just like your imagination gets away with you, and then you start believing in it. So this is a much younger age than these kids were, obviously. So I do believe it's something they could grow out of. It's something that they could be treated for, like for the mental the mental health side of it is that they were obviously a little bit behind their age group, I guess, with that kind of thing. Because like I said, I'm saying this was me at 5 and I'm supposedly a little bit behind in my age group because of Asperger's, obviously. So the fact that they're carrying this like same thing on into 12 and 13, it tends to indicate that there is a mental illness aspect to it. And I do believe that they could be fixed. So I don't believe that kids who commit, these heinous crimes necessarily should be treated the same way as adults. So interesting, right? Slender Man was a big thing with your kids. Right, we read that. They were sacrificing her to Slender, and they were running away to find him in the woods. That's right. That's what they said, but see, I just don't think that's what. When you listen to like the interviews or early interviews, it sounds like they were using that for an excuse. It sounds like the excuses. It sounds like they came up with the Slender Man story afterwards to excuse what they were doing. When I was a kid, we just had different characters depending on location and time of the year. Right. Right, exactly, Prince Lava. The parents all said that they were worried about the mental health of the perpetrators. Right, so it doesn't mean that you're going to be permanently mentally impaired. Some things are permanent and some things are not. ADHD, Asperger's, those sort of things, they're pretty much permanent. There's no fixing it. The brain has a different physical makeup. You can't change that. But there are some things I think that they can fix, they can change. As far as I'm trying to think like what you would call this mental illness, because I'm not a therapist or anything, or a specialist in any of this stuff. Oh my god, my eye just went droopy again. What? Whose stupid idea was it to use a VRM? Let me see. Yeah. Okay. VRM's got droopy eye again, so I'm just gonna turn it off. Bye bye, droopy eye. Oh, the program's stuck. There you go. Oh, they came up with a story after. I think they did come up with a story afterwards. I think they did. Just looking through. So when this all sort of came about, I was watching their interviews with the police and what all led up to it. And then, yeah, it's kind of like that story came up as a result of like, we need an excuse for doing this heinous thing. So tons of drawings by the girls. I think our collective imaginations were worse. Right. I don't know how we can I don't know how we can put children away forever without saying there's room for them to grow. They fucked up. They didn't realize how serious this shit was going to get, to the point where someone's actually dead and they're facing adult court, and they realize how fucking serious it is, right? There's another couple of kids in England that tortured a little boy to death. It's kind of the same thing, you can put them into medication and treatment, right? They can be treated, and they can be supervised and still act like functioning young adults at that age. So I'm not entirely sure how I feel. I think I support them being released under supervision, which they both are. It is under supervision. They're not just out free. They actually are under supervision. They're under medication, and they're being treated, as Prince Lover says. So, but yeah, I think also that the girl that they almost killed has very much a right to not feel comfortable about it. So quit winking. All right, I'm not winking now. We're back to just me. It was an interesting experiment to use the VR, and I was doing that for you, damn dog. You might not be watching, but the damn dog asked me, will you please at least just do a VR? And this is one of the reasons that we don't do VR, like because they're not entirely reliable. Sometimes they just get the blinky eye. The blinky eye. Their brain's right. That's exactly what I think too, Tracy. So your brain really doesn't fully develop. It's different for boys and girls, I guess, but until the 20 to 21 age group. So I think it might be like 19 to 21 is like that sort of area where your brain's fully developed. And they definitely should face consequences. But treatment and maturity, as you say, Tracy, I agree with that. Well, some kids' brains are warped for life, and one mistake is not... One single mistake is not the determining factor, Constant fuck-ups and doing all sorts of weird shit, that's probably a determining factor. So, constantly being cruel to animals, constantly, beating kids up in class, or, there's patterns. There's not just, we did this stupid thing when we were kids one time and screwed up. So yeah, I'm kind of on the fence how I feel about it. I feel badly for the victim, and I feel badly for the kids who actually did do the fuck up. So what about you guys? How do you guys feel about it? Do you think it's okay that they're under supervised release right now? So let me just look at it. Supervised release means it's conditional release. So She's now 22. Well, they're both now 22. I think the other one was released last year. One of two convicted for the Slender Man stabbing that took place during the hearing. The judge said plans to approve placing Morgan in a group home in Sun Prairie. She will have to wear a GPS monitor. The decision comes after the lawyer, the defendant's lawyer, felt a placement in one county would be unsuitable, so they suggested this other county. So, because they have better facilities, essentially. The date of her release has not been set. So, the other. So all three girls were 12 at the time. So there you go. I thought one was 13, but they weren't. They were all 12. The other one was Anissa, I think her name is. Yes, Anissa. She's already under supervised release or conditional release. So we'll see what happens with that. Just getting the updates on it, just so that we all know what's going on. Granted release in 2021 after agreeing to live with her father and to wear a GPS monitor. So that was the other girl. So we'll see how it goes. Slender Man was created online by Eric Knudsen in 2009 as a mysterious spectre photo edited into everyday images of children at play. He's typically depicted as a slim, spidery figure in a black suit with a featureless white face. He's grown into a popular boogeyman and has appeared in video games, online stories, and a 2018 movie. There you go. So yeah, I think they could be repaired. What do you guys think? Right, Corn Pope. And that actually comes down to the doctor treating them, right? One of the bugger killers are out under new indictments and living here in Australia. Oh, really? Oh, the bugger booger. You're talking about the little kid and living here in Australia. Gotcha. I know what Bulger was that his name? The little kid was Bulger. Like, it was a Bulger. The little kid. I didn't know that he's living here in Australia though. Difference between immature idiots and actual psychopaths. Right, Tracy, that's what I think too. So, as a kid, we just figured out how to not get caught. Right. Does anyone know what their home life was like before? The kids' home life? There's a couple of different interviews with the parents and stuff. Do you want to have a look at those? Let me see if I can find you some interviews with the parents. Angie. So this is one of the parents 5 years ago. Let me see how long it is. Okay, that's pretty short. Let's do that one. For you. Ads. Back off with the ads. Yeah, let's do. Little bit of get smart there. Here we go.
Do you feel like you're a survivor?
Yeah, I shouldn't be alive. I really shouldn't after what happened.
For the first time, Peyton Leichner is talking about that day 5 years ago. 3 12-year-olds at a slumber party, and the next morning, a walk into the woods to play hide and seek.
Do you remember leaving the park to go to the woods?
They just wanted to go on a walk, and I didn't think much of it. It's just a walk. It's in Waukesha. Like, what bad stuff happens in Waukesha, Wisconsin?
Peyton was stabbed 19 times and left for dead by her own friends, who later blamed the fictional character Slender Man.
Morgan handed me the knife, and then I started to count again. When I was 5 feet away, I said, now, go ballistic, go crazy, stab, 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 stab.
The suspects lured the victim into the woods. All 3 of the girls are 12 years old.
Who's ever heard of 2 12-year-old girls planning for 6 months to kill one of their best friends?
The whole time, Peyton was screaming in agony. I didn't want to do this. I was afraid of what would happen if I didn't.
It's Friday night in Waukesha, Wisconsin, a Milwaukee suburb. Peyton is getting ready to celebrate her best friend Morgan Geyser's birthday at that slumber party.
Peyton was so excited.
The girls met in 4th grade, Peyton drawn to Morgan because she was a loner who needed a friend.
I made friends with her when I saw that she didn't have any friends at all.
Also at that sleepover, Anissa Wire, who was new to the school and who had grown close to Morgan.
They played up in Morgan's bedroom, ran up and down the stairs, giggling and laughing, and I mean, it was just a normal night.
But there was nothing normal about what happened the next morning when Morgan and Anissa suggest they all go to the park and then to the woods together.
Anissa told me to lie on the ground and like cover myself in like sticks and leaves and stuff, but it was really just a trick.
While playing hide and seek, then came Anissa's command, and Morgan attacks Peyton with a knife.
Morgan said, don't be afraid, I'm only a little kitty cat, and jumped on top of Bella and stabbed her repeatedly.
And do you remember when it started?
Kind of. I didn't feel anything because my body was in shock. So they told me to lay down, you'll lose blood slower, like we're gonna go get help.
Did she try to get up? Yeah, she tried to get up. She said that she couldn't see, she couldn't walk, and that she couldn't breathe.
And they told her they were gonna go get her help, but Anissa flat out said, no, we weren't getting her help. We wanted her to die.
I got up and then just walked until I hit a patch of grass where I could lay down.
A bicyclist notices Peyton bloodied and lying in the grass. He calls 911. Officer Dan Klein is the first on the scene.
I asked her who did this, and she told me her friend Morgan.
Peyton tells paramedics she's been stabbed.
They asked how long was the knife, and she said that the knife was about like this, and she was talking about the blade, not the handle.
Her mother rushes to the hospital just before Peyton is taken into surgery.
I said, you're gonna be okay, it's gonna be fine. But I could see that she was covered. Her arms and her legs and her abdomen, they were covered in stab wounds.
The surgeon treating Peyton told me if the stab wound to the chest had been the width of a human hair deeper, she would not have survived. While Peyton fights for her life, police are searching everywhere for the 2 girls.
It was about 2:53 in the afternoon.
This is another thing I need to say I'm on the fence about, because there's situations where people intend to kill someone, but they survive. So the intention to kill was there. I don't know that these girls intended to kill it. I think they did. But I don't think that in their own minds they understood the seriousness of actually killing someone and what that was going to be like. But we have very different penalties for someone didn't die, even though you intentionally tried to kill them. They didn't die, in actual murder. So even premeditated murder, because these kids did plan it. So it's still much smaller punishment, isn't it, if the person survives? So I'm still on the fence how I feel about that kind of stuff. Like this, it's a case by case thing. Some things I'm not on the fence about. Some cases I'm not on the fence about. Other cases I am. This is one where I am on the fence, so it's interesting.
I had gotten a message that the sheriff's department had located the girls on the site of I-94. They were sitting on the side of the freeway.
By the time we found them, they had walked about 5 hours and made it to the north end of our city.
Morgan Geyser and Anissa Wire are brought back to the Waukesha police station for questioning.
Their demeanor was very calm. They seemed kind of meek.
Your parents know that you're here talking to me, okay? And I'm glad they're so glad that you're safe.
I did notice she had a blood stain on the front of her shirt, and she was wearing 2 shirts.
Okay, what is your name? Anissa Wire.
Morgan seemed like she was very calm, very relaxed. I mean, she's at a police department and she's covered in blood. And this is like a normal day for her.
What is your name again? Morgan.
You can hear Morgan ask what's happened to Peyton, using her nickname, Bella.
Is she dead?
I don't know. She was taken to the hospital.
What? I was just wondering.
It didn't seem like it really concerned her too much if she was dead or alive.
The detectives read the girls their rights.
You have the right to remain silent.
Here in the state of Wisconsin, a child can be interrogated without the presence of their parent or guardian being in the room. At that time, I did not know that.
We find that people are more truthful when they don't have their parents present.
This is going to get me arrested, isn't it?
The interrogations last for hours.
You think these all kids a little bit more comfortable here?
I have a daughter that's almost the same age as her. Like, she could be my daughter, but then she started saying things that were really very eerie, hearing them coming out of a 12-year-old's mouth.
So did you guys talk about doing this beforehand?
Anisha told me we had to.
Why?
Because she said that he'd kill our families.
Who's he?
A man. I didn't know him, but Anissa knew him.
And this is where the story takes another turn, to a fictional character on the internet.
There's this website called the Creepypasta Wiki. Okay. It's full of horror stories that are meant to purposely scare you. And there's one of them called Slender Man.
Who's Slender Man?
He's this tall, faceless man who preys on children. At his own will, he can exploit these tendrils from his back and strangle his victims. For what the Creepypasta Wiki said, he targets children most.
Anissa explained to me that to prove yourself worthy to Slender, you would have to kill somebody.
Morgan said, we have to kill Bella.
When we come back.
Did you feel bad? They just stabbed one of your best friends?
I thought about it, but then I decided that remorse will get me nowhere. It's easier to live without regrets.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking.
Oops. You did. So, yeah. The mothers are all, understandably looking at it from different angles. The victim's mother is understandably upset about the whole thing, and then the other 2 mothers are understandably upset because they really shouldn't have been interrogating children without the parents there. So their home life apparently was just pretty normal. Like, they were just normal kids doing normal home life stuff. There is an interview. There is an interview with the mothers. Parents recall what happened that morning. That's the victim's parents. I think that's from that same interview, actually. Let me see what we can find. Yeah, they're the parents haven't done anything recently, but I did actually see, some interviews about the background and stuff. It might have even come up in court during their court hearings, like but yeah, can't find it. But that's as good as we got so far. So so that's where we are. I remember hearing that too. Oh, thank you, Mag. I love you too. All right, so yeah, I think they were pretty normal girls, especially even just getting into the Slender Man thing, like the creepy pasta stuff was pretty normal. All the kids were into the creepy pasta stuff, like all of it. So there's so many stories about Slender Man. Like, I would just recommend, if you want to see what the girls were saying and thinking and doing about that particular topic, look it up. It's amazing. I'm trying to find the parents' interviews is proving to be a little difficult, a little bit more difficult than I thought it would be. So yeah, all right. Sorry, I went quiet. Something else going on. Can we do this later, Connie? Like, does it have to be in the middle of a show? Please. Oh yeah, my kids were young too. Heard about it from older kids, right? The creepypasta stuff. Absolutely. No, that was actually awesome. Thank you, Michelle. Much appreciated. It was bloody awesome. There's also ongoing, like, you can actually watch the court case for that and listen to what the parents testified about the kids during the court case and stuff. So I'm trying to think. I think also doctors maybe testified as well about their about the girls' mental health during that. So there's a lot more. There's a lot more to sort of to talk about with regard to what they went through. So right, now let's move on. What was the next thing? Oh my god. Here we go. The next thing is Karen Reed's motions. So she's motioned for well, you probably heard it from everyone else. She's motioned for her car and her phone back. She's also motioned for the sidebar transcripts to be made, I think, public. Honourable to release the transcripts of sidebar conferences that occurred prior and during the 2 trials in this matter. Because I think she needs them to do her Section 1983. But on the Section 1983 topic, the whole not giving her car back and stuff is part of that. So oh, isn't that what I just played? That one? Hang on. Thanks, Michelle. Let me do a quick squeeze and see if it's worked. The side track or the backtrack, let's say. Actually, before the sidetrack and the backtrack, I did have a pinned comment here from Vince, the evil lawyer. I don't know why he calls himself evil. Are you insecure, Vince? I criticised Bob Leslie today. Every 5th word he says is a filler. And the guy that interviewed him today asked, right, well, you know what, you want to know something, Vince? He's pretty successful. To say that, it's bad to do because you won't be successful, I think Bob Leslie is actually proof that you could be wrong. So maybe we need to criticise you for saying that thing is a bad thing to do and you won't get successful if you do it, because I would call Alessi pretty fucking successful. Would you not call him that? What do you guys think? It's okay that you criticized him, by the way. It's your choice to do that. I got no dramas with whoever you want to criticize for whatever you want to criticize, but how many hours of sidebar are there? Well, you know what, Kat? There's a lot less hours of sidebar than there is of actual transcripts just from the court, from the hearings. So from the trial, I should say. There's a lot less sidebar, but there is still quite a bit of sidebar. Like we can't argue there. Definitely a low sidebar. So we have a couple of different, lawyer opinions about that, but I think personally, it all needs to free the transcripts. Why are we keeping them under wraps now? The trial's over. You're not protecting you're not protecting the jury, you're not protecting the trial anymore. So why are we still under impoundment? She's asking for trial 1 and trial 2 sidebars, plus all of the pre-hearing stuff. I believe it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a ton. It is. And I'm assuming, just an assumption here, speculation, if you like, that she needs it for her 1983 claims. So the fact that they're actually giving her property back supports the 1983 claim that this is a vendetta, not a valid reason to be doing this. So I think it does actually support that claim. So if I look over, I got some notes on this. Lexus seizure. Here we go. Yep. We go to the way to the top, way to the A to the B, all the way up. God, we could be here for ages going through these notes. So this, it's actually the fact that they're refusing to respond, and Karen's legal team have had to go through the court to get them to respond. It's like it's insane on every legal, ethical, and constitutional level. Because she's been acquitted for everything except OUI. So those claims that the Commonwealth made, they never proved the Lexus as a weapon. So they actually have no basis for continued seizure. Yeah, I've got dickheads on X saying, "Oh, but the OUI, she was driving when she committed the OUI crime. She was driving the Lexus." No, that's not how it works. There's absolutely no recorded history whatsoever of people being found guilty of OUI having their vehicles seized. So no, and then when they make that claim, they say, well, she was criminally charged with OUI, and so civilly, they're entitled to take the vehicle. It's like, no, that's not how it works. But anyway, no excuse for refusing to even reply the council's request. Yeah, no excuse for that. So the fact that they're forcing her to have to do it through the court suggests that the DA's office and/or state police are retaining the vehicle for cover because they know that the forensic contents contradict their theory that they're going to get busted with something in the forensic contents, or delaying it to prevent independent inspection of those things. So if either of those things comes true, if the Lexus or the phone comes back with shit they can prove in a 1983 claim, then they're screwed, right? They're screwed. So I think when it comes to 1983 claim, you can start off pretty weak with a claim, but you could also add to it cumulatively. And so this is what we were talking about with Judge Bev, like whether or not there was enough to at appeal to do stuff with Judge Bev's shenanigans. Again, it came down to cumulative. If you have one thing, it's probably weak. If you got 2 or 3 things, it's probably getting better. But if you've got 60 things, now you've got a pretty strong, solid argument to make. And I think that's where that would come into things. But there's also this other side of things that Corn Pope and I were looking at, where there is actually digital proof of digital shenanigans, like absolutely digital proof. I haven't come out and talked about it in any detail yet because I don't know if it's conducive to a 1983 claim or what. Like, there's no way they were going to bring this stuff up in trial because, I mean, obviously that's the reason that they were screwing with the files, to make it sound everything that the defense pointed at sound even more conspiratorial, and that's what I think they were aiming to do. But there is more and more stuff being added to the cumulative problems that Karen Reid can raise in a 1983 claim, and also in as far as damages go. So this is keeping her vehicle and her phones and stuff is an abusive retention of property post acquittal. So it can actually, work against the Norfolk DA. And I believe the Section 1983 would be probably directed at either the DA or Proctor or both. So if it's going to include a Monell claim and damages from the city, I guess it would include those things. But anyway, under Section 1983, a person can sue for the deprivation of constitutional rights by someone acting under colour of state law. And in this case, the Fourth Amendment. So the Lexus and the phone were seized under the theory they were instrumentalities of a crime, but now she's been acquitted of all relevant charges, and only convicted of OUI. There's no continuing legal justification for holding them. And then continued seizure post acquittal is part of that Fourth Amendment violation. If there's no warrant, there's no hearing or lawful basis for retaining the property, which there isn't. And then the phone is even worse because it's personal and private data. And in a post-Raleigh versus California world, the courts take phone privacy very seriously. I'm not sure that's California. I'm not sure if that's actually all of the courts, but we do know that that's a thing. So 14th Amendment due process, obviously deprivation of property without a process, all falls into those Section 1983 deprivation of constitutional rights. So I think that's part of it. The strategic value is that it's not necessarily about the Lexus. It's about showing a pattern of vindictive and retaliatory conduct post-acquittal. So they've got pre-trial, and then they've got during trial, 2 trials, and then post vindictiveness. The whole lot has been vindictive. So and so cumulatively, it would also support malicious prosecution, abuse of process, suppression of exculpatory evidence, fabrication of evidence, and retaliation for exercising constitutional rights. So if they dig into the phone, the Lexus, and they find, like what we already know they're going to find with the Lexus, is that someone deleted all the data from the Lexus. So one of the things, free car wash. Yay, free car wash. Hey Scotty, how's it going? Good to see you. What does DA Meatball Morrissey care? He will keep carrying stuff as long as he can. He has zero oversight. Well, that's true. The US attorney is still interim. That's right. So it's not going to hold up forever, Scotty. It ain't going to be forever, but so yeah, essentially the well, where was I? There's a bonus twist, right? So if they actually do find, we know what they're going to find with that. They actually did delete data from the Lexus, so it's important that she gets that back, so she can do this claim and prove that this information was removed from her car. The destructive chip-off process, again, that was malicious. That was not, we can do this other ways, less destructively, but they didn't. And then the phone, obviously, if all her GPS data is gone from her phone, and they can show that all the GPS data is actually gone from the phone, not just they didn't hand it over so it couldn't be used in trial, but it is actually gone from the phone, then that adds to the collective maliciousness of what they were doing. So if the Lexus or the phone were altered, wiped, or parts removed during 3+ years of state custody, that could introduce spoliation of evidence under a claim section 1983, or even under a minor liability angle, if you can show the department had no prior inventory or retention policy, which this is where the audit is going to bite them in the ass, because in the audit they're actually admitting that the department did not have any proper inventory or retention policy prior to the audit. So interesting, right? Free Karen reads Alexis. Where the fuck are we, Kat? This is crazy. Free the phone, free the Lexus. So yeah, I think the audit is going to actually prove its weight in gold. They think the audit was actually in their, best interest. But I think the audit is actually, now that we're at this stage of the process, is going to bite them in the ass. So wherever they have admitted in the audit that they didn't have a department policy for that particular thing, yeah, that's going to bite them in the ass. That's going to fall under a Monell claim. So under a Section 1983, let me try and remember what a Monell claim is. I need to. Monell versus Department of Social Security Services expanded who could be held liable under Section 42. Under 42 U.S. Code Section 1983. The Monell decision allows victims harmed to sue a local government for any constitutional violations due to the entity's policies, procedures, or customs, or lack thereof. So that's what a Monell claim is. So, I bet that's exactly what's the problem here. It would just further prove they're screwing around. Exactly. And her phone, it's going to prove it. It's going to prove a whole bunch of stuff, right? And the audit's going to back it up. So, roll. So essentially, yeah, it strengthens a Section 1983. It gives them an avenue for a Monell claim. The stupidness with their audit and the trying to get the audit out the day that court started, that's going to bite them in the ass. That's going to actually support the Section 1983. Moving on to next note. Also, right, they also decided that in the, I think this is the Walsh case, and let me work out which court. Miles King case. They also decided in the Miles King case that they're going to hide all of Proctor's texts from the public. They're not going to release it to the public. Proctor's phone records. So, essentially, they're going to block the dissemination of Trooper Proctor's Celebrate and Celebrate Reader reports, but they're doing it under the premise that they were harassed. So this is where I got a problem with their premise, is that people protesting, the public demanding transparency and accountability is not the same as being harassed. Those are not one and the same. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say that the protesting and the public's demand for public accountability, for transparency and accountability, they're trying to say that that in itself is harassment. They don't need to prove that they were harassed. They don't need to connect any of the dots between whether that is a protected activity, the public demanding it or even protesting is a protected activity and cannot be classed as harassment. Then they're not being asked to prove any of that. They're just saying, well, we were harassed, and because we were harassed, we don't think anyone should get their eyes on it. So explain to me how being harassed means you don't have to be transparent anymore. How does that fit together? And the judge didn't even ask it. But I think because in this particular case, both the Commonwealth and the defense were both saying, yeah, okay, we'll take that and run with it. They're both in agreement. But I don't know that Miles King's attorney is in total agreement. Like, she might say, yeah, all right, let's not let the public have it. She might be agreeing to that part, so that she doesn't have to expose what she's going to do with it during the trial for her part. So you can bet your bottom dollar his attorney's got a plan for it. Maybe like releasing it into the wild is not part of her plan, but that doesn't mean she hasn't got a plan for it. So I wouldn't be too shocked or worried that she supported that motion. But what the motion does is actually exposes some bigger legal implications for the DA's office, because it shows a conscious pattern of suppression. So there's not really a good reason to keep it from the public. But it reveals a clear strategy to hide the misconduct and claim and hide it behind claiming victimhood. Like, we're the victims here, when they're not. So the victim was actually the person who Proctor was victimizing when he did those things in those text messages. So they're trying to preemptively shield communications between Proctor and DA personnel, likely because they contain discovery, manipulation, improper coordination, and possibly evidence fabrication or witness tampering. I would say it probably shows a lot of everything in between. So what's good for the FBI is good for the Commonwealth. Right. It's Olivia. How's it going, girlfriend? It's what the Commonwealth have consciously done to defendants. Exactly. Withhold discovery for years and years and then agree to turn it over only under agreement of empowerment. It's bullshit, right? Complete bullshit. So, but I think it actually is a little bit of a mistake on their part, because it creates more evidence for a monoclaim, or a monoclaim as part of a Section 8, a 1983 pattern claim. So if you can establish the pattern, then establish not just the pattern, but also that they have an anti-policy as a matter of principle, then you've got a pretty solid monoclaim. But it also adds weight to the Section 1983 retaliation claim, because the public has a constitutional right to scrutinise public officials in a high-profile trial. So Proctor wasn't just acting as a police officer; he was acting in the capacity of a detective for a public service, a public office is what I meant to say, but you get where I'm coming from, right? Meanwhile, the defense is just desperate to get their hands on some freaking discovery, so they'll sign whatever it means of getting the evidence. It's really gross and manipulative. Right. It is, indeed. Indeed. So you agree that they're trying to get their hands on some discovery so they can actually move forward with their monoclaim, right? Section 1983 and model. I mean, the cat's out of the bag. We know they're doing a Section 1983 model. I'm pretty sure Jackson kind of let the cat out of the bag, right? Release of the sidebars is also something Commonwealth would like to avoid. Much of those sidebars will fully illustrate Bev's bias rulings and also touch on the federal involvement. Wah, wah, wah. And with no oversight, no accountability, no change. Thank you, Smarter Harry. Exactamundo. So I kind of feel like, for the sake of the public, Karen Reid's now got a responsibility to do this. That doesn't mean that she should feel under pressure to do it, but I kind of feel like it's a citizen's responsibility at this point. So right, so all the motions that are getting rejected right now could actually be used in a Section 1983 or civil rights lawsuit to prove that the Commonwealth tried to protect an already disgraced actor. from further exposure. After they fired him, and after internal and external investigations had already revealed impropriety, and after the public actually should be entitled to even those investigations and impropriety and how they came to those decisions. And even in defense of Miles King case, even the defense in the Miles King case had to agree the protective order showing the imbalance of access and control the Commonwealth exerts over discovery. So that imbalance could be framed as systemic, which is part of, compiling a pattern of concealment. So Karen Reid certainly has that pattern of concealment in her case. I'm not sure about the Miles King case. I'm only just starting to get into what the Miles King case is actually about. So, Olivia, I was talking about Rosemary. Yes, she's the Miles King case, right? 4 years and no discovery. Right, exactly. It was kind of applicable to both, but Olivia. Ironically, or is it unironically? Was applicable to all of the cases, really. But it applies to all of the cases, right? They've done the same thing with Karen and Aiden, right? Exactly. Right, so where am I? More notes. All right, I had a little vent that I was like upset because they never have to prove anything. They can sit there and cry. Where we got harassed, but they don't have to actually prove it. So that's in my notes here. They can just demand secrecy on the flimsiest of complaints. And they don't have to prove anything. Everyone's just like, oh yeah, it must be true because Meatball said it. So we talked about Rosemary being on board with them hiding it, but on the note of I don't think she's on board with them hiding it from the public. I think she's just on board with it doesn't affect my case. I can still use it, and if it's not out there in the public, then these little backhanders that we can do during trial are all the more of a surprise. So I think that it might be strategic for her. So yeah, I've got there's a whole this actually opens up this whole bunch of topics that I want to talk with Andrea about. I got Andrea booked for I think it's the 8th in America, that's the 9th for Australia. So I think it's like 3 p.m. in America and 8 a.m. Australia or something like that. But this actually opens up all of that conversation that I'd like to have with Andrea because Bob and Ali actually started the conversation. I'd like to continue that on with Andrea about, even guilty clients can get railroaded with crappy information. So that includes Miles King and Walsh, for example. It's very likely, like the evidence and all the evidence points towards Walsh actually did the chopping his wife up thing. But it makes it difficult because the people that collected that evidence are actually known liars now. So, but even when someone may be guilty, it doesn't justify the dirty prosecution. So there's some conversations I want to have with Andrea on that. How do we fix this? Is there actually a method to fix it? So that'll be a great conversation because she's terrific with these processes. Let's say we'll probably talk about the model claim as well and how that falls into the the giant picture. So, and the law calls for public disclosure. Exactly, that's what transparency is. So, moving on from there. So I was doing a bit of research about what forensic analysis Karen can do on the Lexus now that everything's done there, and how that can be used in the either the civil matter or the Section 1983 matter. So establishing what they actually did do to her car would be bloody awesome, and putting that out there not only to strengthen their claims either civilly or with a Section 1983, but also so that we know what the hell they did, so we know when it comes in future what they're doing to stitch people up. So not necessarily we as in me, because I don't live in Massachusetts, but the Massachusetts Puttians, they should know how it is they're getting stitched up, right? Right, and so the fact that the vehicle's in a million different pieces because of what they did, they pulled, the internals out and pulled the chips off and everything, and it didn't prove anything. So it's not just mishandling, it's also potentially forensic fraud, right? Half the shit they presented in court from having destroyed her car was actually not true. Doesn't hold up in the world of science, right? And yes, I'm vaping now. I'm on a very, very, very weak, minute dose of nicotine vape, and it's under a prescription because they banned it in Australia. If you have to actually go through the chemist to vape here now and get it prescribed. So yes, but it's not a huge strength, because I went 2 weeks. Like almost no tobacco. I didn't buy any. I haven't bought any for 3 weeks now, but I was still bumming one off my son in the mornings. Couldn't get past that morning cigarette. So I wanted to get past the morning cigarette. So I ended up getting a prescription for the vape. Got my prescription. Just started it 2 days or a day or two ago. And it's going good, Michelle. It's weird. It's really weird. It's weird, but it's going good. So it hits the spot. But because I'm already so low on nicotine already, my body's already purged a lot of it already. It's such a small dose that it's not even 10%. So normally people mix at 50-50 or 70-30. I don't even think I've reached 10% mix. So it's mostly just menthol flavor that I'm vaping right now. Right, the morning, yeah, it's hard. The morning dairy, it's the one that's killing me. But yeah, I'm getting by with the vape. Just that it's such a small amount, but it is hitting the spot. And then in between, I'm sucking on the aromatherapy fume. I'm sucking on that one in between. So I think we're actually doing it. We're doing this thing. But anyway, that's what you could hear right then, was me having a take on the vape, which I'm only doing maybe 3 or 4 times a day. So, and a little bit more when I'm socializing. because that's when socializing, morning diary and socializing is the hardest to kick, right? But anyway, so where are we? So the chip off extraction. So if they can prove that that whole thing was unnecessary, that they could have got the same information without doing that, then that's a good start. If they could prove that at some stage there was accident data, and then when the Norfolk County got hold of it, there was none. The crash data had been erased. I don't know how you would do that. Possibly if you took it in for repair, I guess. Someone downloaded something like before all of this happened. So, yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there slowly. But, yep. So it would fall under spoliation of evidence, but also destruction of evidence under Section 1983 violation. And then malicious prosecution enhancement under that Section 1983. So all three of those things would get beefed up if they could actually forensically analyze and prove that some of this stuff was done to the vehicle. So this is going to be much like the trial was. It's going to be like pick your giving up socializing was easier. Right, it was. This is going to be like a pick your fight, pick your battle. What battles they choose to actually fight here, it's going to be very much, there's going to be so much for them to fight that it is going to boil down to which battles do they want to pick and which ones are going to give them the best results. So I can see that happening where some things we think, it happened during the trial. Everything, all the things, let's make all the arguments. Whereas they didn't want to make all the arguments because they were trying to pick their battles the best, like strategically. So, but I figure this civil case and also the 1983 are both going to be, again, pick your battle. Which battle do you want? Which battle's got the most chance of succeeding, basically? So in the civil damages, this is where it's probably going to be a cornerstone event, like just the fact that they're withholding her vehicle right now. It's going to come back to damages, like how much is she entitled to as compensation for what they did? How much is she entitled to? That's where it will actually play out the biggest. So I also expect it. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I expect it. I also know that she can actually counterclaim against the O'Keefe's claim. She could make a counterclaim against the O'Keefe's, but if I know Karen, she's way too kind and doesn't want to put them through any extra shit. So she probably won't. That is my guess. But she could counterclaim. And then there's damages with that as well if she wins a counterclaim there. So it just depends. If it looks like Morrissey is helping the O'Keefes do this and, just giving them access to everything that they're trying to freaking hide from the public, she might go ahead with it. They might just force her hand. So, yeah, I can't tell you guys about that bit yet. But it's there's stuff going on with the video footage. There's stuff with the video footage that could be included in this whole malicious prosecution thing that would prove a lot of malicious shit going on in the background. I can't talk about it because I haven't. I don't know what they're doing with it at this stage. If they're going to use it, I don't want to be putting it out there. Like, they need some strategic, some way to come in strategically, right? And have a bit of a surprise attack. So that's it. That's all my notes, I think, on that. Let me just get to the bottom of this list. Oh, I guess we can go on to the next. No, actually, we don't want to go into that. That one's political, too politically charged. We won't go into that one next. I'm done. How long have we been live for? Yay, 2 hours. There you go. I'm at the end of the list, at the end of the line. So, little summary. Karen Reid's attorney, Stephen Bazang, filed a second motion seeking the return of 2 additional cell phones recently seized by the Massachusetts State Police. These phones were taken in January 2024 during a special prosecutor's failed attempt to indict Reid and vocally supportive blogger, award-winning journalist, Aidan Carney, on witness intimidation charges. So there's 2 more phones that they put in a motion for, and then those also, if they're just going to withhold those also fall under Fourth Amendment due process violations, potential Section 1983 evidence for malicious prosecution or unreasonable seizure or deprivation of property, privacy and harassment claims. As with the first motion, there's no evidence that the phones revealed wrongdoing because obviously the ham sandwich just wasn't there. So it ends up being the same thing with the as with the vehicle. They don't have any reason to be hanging onto it anymore. So that will add to the pattern of abuse. Will also provide a little bit more leverage in the litigation process. I think there was one more, wasn't there? The 2 phones. We talked about it already. Releasing the hounds. Release the hounds. No, releasing the transcripts. So all the transcripts, all of them. They all let them free. Let them go. Let them all be free. Fly, be free. Little nignogs. Isn't that what Mork used to say for Mork? About the eggs. Anyway. It was good to have a stream. Good to have a stream. Indeed it was. Just wanted to do that just to fill in because I have been neglecting my YouTube responsibilities. I know. I've been so busy trying to get this freaking paperwork sorted for my build, and still trying to get quotes and things together. Nothing happens in a hurry on the islands. They told me, they did warn me that whatever you think will take 6 months on the mainland, that'll take 1.5 years on the islands. That were dead right. So I'm getting a little frustrated with the whole process, just to vent a little bit. It's like when I did my course, my owner builder course, Nanu, that's the one. When I did my owner builder course, the first thing you learn is how to get all your quotes together to work out your budget. right? Did you hear that? Quotes help you work out your budget, right? That's the order it goes in. You get your quotes first, and then you know what your budget is. For some reason, people on the islands don't work that way. For some reason, they think you should know what your budget is without the quotes. Apparently. So when I ask for quotes, people are like, show us all your, show us the end product where you finished your budget and everything first. It's like, no, I need your quote to do that. I'm not even there yet because I need your quote to get there. Send me a quote. Oh, have you got your paperwork lodged with the council yet? It's like, if I had that, then I would have my budget together, right? So obviously I'm not lodged with the council yet because you still haven't given me a fucking quote. How about you give me the quote and then I can get to that point quicker? Anyway, it's frustrating me. It's like putting the chicken before the egg, right? Or the cart before the horse. It doesn't work, man. You've got to give me the quotes so I can finish everything, so I can lodge it with the council. Part of the thing the council wants to see is the budget. What's the expected spend, and what is it being spent on? And are these materials the proper materials according to expenses? Obviously, if you go too cheap, they're like, yeah, nah, we're not going to pass that. So, but yeah, basically, I need the quotes to be able to finish this last bit, and people give me the shits with the quotes. So I got people who just don't even reply. It's like, hey, can I have a quote, please? And then nothing. It's like, wow. Imagine being so busy and so inundated with work that you don't even bother replying to quotes. I wish. I'm sure we all wish. But anyway. Slender Man is just Candyman after he had a midlife crisis and went to Jenny Craig. That's hilarious. I love it. On that note, we're going to sign out. I got to go make a phone call, make sure my car repairs are all on schedule. So we are done for the day, boys and girls. I'm not going to do a music outro because I've got to go do this phone call like ASAP. Bye, everyone. Be good. Enjoy your weekend.